Ah, sense of humor does help, doesn't it? All right. So those of you who are just joining us, welcome. This is a recap of some of the things we've been working on, and some of the those of you who haven't been on the call in a while, we're focusing more and more on DocuBranding, and it's about telling your message. I am going to go ahead and let's see, go full screen here. And I'm going to go into presenters mode. Okay, these are some of the things we're going to be, covering today. DocuBranding is all about you. It's the story of you and the purpose of your business. Why is this important? Because in this age of social media interaction, it's, you have to share who you are. People connect with us. So I'm going to give you some ideas on how you can create your 30-day DocuBranding plan for Facebook Live. We're going to identify some events from your life that actually can be incorporated within your DocuBranding story that kind of create a chain reaction, if you will, so people understand why you are so brilliant at what you do and why you're so passionate at what you do and why do you keep doing it even when things aren't flowing as fast as you would like them to, because that's what it takes. It takes us to be in our passion to stay on track and keep going. I've been doing this for 15 years. It's been evolving, and it hasn't always been easy, and some of the times it's just been smooth sailing all the way, but because of my passion for what I'm doing, I've been able to just stay on course. And then we're going to take a look at what you're already doing on Facebook that you can turn into your marketing video library, promotional video library. So let me go over the shoulder here with the split screen. And we don't want that. Hold on a second. We do not. This is what we want. Okay. All right, so let's take first things first. DocuBranding is the story of you and the purpose of your business. Why is this important? Well, you need to create a mechanism that tells people who you are. Well, think about documentary. What is documentary? When we hear documentary, we know it's a story of something or someone that's important. Otherwise they would not create a documentary about it, would they? So it's something that's true and something that we want to know about, something that's historical. Well, you're historical because what you're creating right now, it's going to go and it's going to be recorded. It's going to be passed down. The people that are following you right now are going to be, with you moving on. So this is really, really important. Okay. And the purpose of your business. So once we start looking at why you do what you do, and we're going to get into that in just a minute, you need to talk about the purpose of your business. You need to identify the purpose of your business. Yes, it's to make money, but there is a reason why you chose that particular business. And we're going to talk about why you chose to do what you're doing now. What is it that compels you? Where is your passion in it? Because once you know how to do that, once you know how to articulate it, then it's going to be easier for you to explain to people why you do what you do, because it's not the act itself. As they say, it's the benefit of the benefit. Mortgage brokers get, money for people so they can buy a home. But why do we want to have our own home? It's security, that's our place, it's an investment. We want a safe place for our children to grow, whatever kind of property you're buying. So what does it buy us in the end, and why you do what you do? So again, going back to maybe a realtor, they could say that they love the idea of putting somebody in a home where they feel secure and the children are happy. They give them a backyard. So it's a very visual thing if you can explain to people why you do what you do. And why do I do what I do? It's as simple as that. I believe each one of us have this gift that is designed to sustain us and also serve the people we're meant to serve. That it's that simple. That's why I do the Global Visibility Initiative, Global Visibility Network, Global Visibility association. Everything is global visibility because that's where I think we all belong. We are all global. That's my belief, and I talk about it, and people hear about it, and I attract people who want to go global, who want to make a global difference. So, you know, one of my big projects is the Global Difference Makers. Now, why global difference makers? Because we want to make a global difference. So people who are not attracted to the idea of going global, people who are not attracted to the idea of making a difference will stay away from me. And isn't that what we want? We want people who are going with us in the same direction. So then we have, you know, really energized, you know, way that we're creating, everybody going the same direction with the same passion. Then we feed off each other, we support each other, we keep each other going when, you know, maybe things aren't going as well as we'd like them to. So this is why you want to make sure that you are clear on why you do what you do, and you're able to explain to people why you do what you do. Because when we are talking with somebody who's passionate about what they're doing, we automatically are attracted to them. They're a magnet. It's a force that we have to be a part of. Even if we're not going to stay with them a long time, for that moment, we are drawn to their passion. So you need to tap into your passion and let people know why it makes such a difference for you. Because honestly, if you don't think it makes a difference, then nobody else is going to. If nobody else thinks that what you do is going to make a difference in their lives, why in the world should they even be around you? Never mind, you know, sign up for your programs. So, you know, why? Why should they support you? You are the reason that you know, they're going to be attracted to it. And the way you explain it is the way they're going to understand. So this is really important for you to know why you do what you do and be able to explain why you do what you do. Okay, so for the 30-day DocuBranding plan, I'm going to, you know, go full on again. I'm actually going to get a glass of water. Hold on. Okay, so 30-day DocuBranding plan. What can you do? Well, let's take a look at what are the things you already do. Do you do coaching calls? Do you do daily tips? Do you share content? So if we just focus on those three things, okay, let's see daily tips. In the things that you're doing, can you put together 7 tips that you can, you know, share with people? You can probably come up with 50 tips you can share with people. So that's one. Coaching calls. Now, I'm guessing that you have clients who would love to be put on Facebook Live, you know, sharing about who they are and what they do. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask, you know, all of you who want to be doing one-on-one laser coaching with me. We'll be going live on Facebook. So I'm going to be doing, by the way, what I'm telling you to do, okay? This is part of my plan too. So if you want to get on a call with me, when we focus on one aspect of your business, one thing that you want to do, whatever it may be, anything in the trifactor system, you know, get ready, get on the set, get paid. We'll take one thing and we'll talk about what it is and what you're doing about it, some of your ideas, and I'll add my ideas. This will be very interesting for people because they get to hear all about you, and then they get to get some of the expertise that I have that I will be sharing. So it will be showcasing you, your passion. You know, if you, let's say, we're talking about identifying your ideal client, right? So you would be talking about why you like working with that particular client. So guess what? You have to describe that client. You have to talk about that client. Your passion will come out. Why is it that you want to support that particular client? What is it about them that you like? And when you're talking about that person, you are going to be describing to the audience, the ones that are listening that happen to fall within that framework of what you're describing. Remember the bullseye, as I described. Your most profitable customer is in a bullseye, but there are other rings past the bullseye. They may not have the 7 different points that your requirements, but they may have 4 of them. They may have 3 of them. Whatever it is, they may be in the same age group. They may be in the same industry. They, whatever they have in common with your ideal client, your most profitable customer, who happens to be your ideal viewers as well, by the way. So, when you're talking about them, you're going to be attracting others. You're going to say, oh, he likes to work with people like me. He knows how to work with people like me. She specializes in working with people like me and solving the challenges that I have. You get this, right? So if you're interested, you can actually go ahead and, send me a message on it, and we can schedule a call where I will do a short. This is like a 5-minute, super laser call, okay? Which will become, by the way, part of my library. So the tips that you create, you go live on Facebook, it's going to give you the opportunity to grow your followers. And it's going to go in your library. So when you're doing client laser coaching calls, that's going to go in your library. Okay. So what else do you do on Facebook? We share each other's posts. Well, most of the time what we'll do is that we'll put the post up and we'll talk about why we like it, and then, how we relate to it. But what if you were to use, and those of you who, XSplit, choosing, I should probably demonstrate it, but the internet connection here is a little bit, it's not very strong, so I don't want to chance it earlier, but just the way XSplit works. We can actually open up Facebook and have it on the screen. And you know how we do a section, select a section, like, where we have the PowerPoint, we select that particular section, where it will actually take everything within that section. It doesn't have to be a PowerPoint. So you can open up somebody's post and just do a screen capture. Yeah, is this making sense? If not, I'm gonna, we can go ahead and open up for questions about it. So there is a region, you do screen capture on that particular thing. So what you can do then is show it and talk about it. Okay, so right now I'm showing PowerPoint over my shoulder, but if there was a website, if there was a anything else that I had in that section, I could actually be showing that over my shoulder. There's no reason why you can't put somebody else's post there or somebody else's video there and play it and talk about it. So now what happens? I actually did this a while ago. So somebody was sharing some great information, and I was like, I should explain how this relates, for the people I'm connecting with, and I added my perspective on it. So now you become a commentator, you become a critic. You guys see this? Okay. I hope you're seeing it. A journalist is coming out as you're talking about other people. So the critic is coming out when you're doing evaluation. So reporter, journalist, guest expert, show host. So now when you're creating this commentary, this also goes in your library under that particular section. So now you have several ways to create your 30-day DocuBranding plan for Facebook. It could be Mondays, you're actually sharing an inspirational moment. On maybe Tuesdays, you're doing laser coaching. Wednesdays, you're doing a commentary, sharing somebody else's post, which you can do 2 or 3 times in the beginning if you're looking to attract bigger volumes of people. Some of the people that you're actually following, you're friends with, they have a huge following. So you can actually leverage in the beginning sharing information about their post. Okay? So you guys get this? I want to see some nods to see this is all making sense. Okay. All right. So this is how we're going to create your 30-day DocuBranding Facebook Live. Now, the other thing is, too, there are several different softwares and plugins, all kinds of stuff that's coming out right now. So you don't have to go live on Facebook Live to be on Facebook Live. You can go live with pre-recorded content. You can go live on Facebook using XSplit. All you have to do is log in, and you can go live with XSplit. You don't even have to have Zoom. Now, to go on Zoom, if it's just you, you don't even have to go on Zoom. If it's just you, you just hit your XSplit, go live on Facebook. You can go live on YouTube. There are several different ones that you can actually go on to. All you have to do, well, I'm not going to go into XSplit right now, later. Anyway, so I hope everybody's clear that this is how you can plan your 30 days. Okay? Now, next, I want to kind of move on to identifying events from your life that can be part of your DocuBranding story. Okay, now that you know there are all kinds of ways you can get on Facebook and create a buzz, what if you started telling stories about yourself that relates to what you do? The more we share about ourselves, the more people are going to be interested in us, in our DocuBranding, right? So let's turn back the clock. What do you remember from when you were a child that shows you already had the disposition to do what you do? You know, did people tell you, oh, you asked too many questions? Well, you may be the reporter that was just budding to come out. You know, why do you ask so many questions? Or be quiet. Or maybe you know, you're running around too much, and you know, you're just very friendly. And so, what are some of the characteristics people have, you know, said when you were little? Or what are some of the experiences you've had, you know, when you're 5 years old, 10 years old, that shows you are on this path? You know, to give you an example, I've already shared this. I was actually putting on, well, for one thing, I always read. I love reading, and I love, you know, traveling, you know, mentally, if you will. In my imagination took me to all these great places. I saw going to different places, and I was telling my friends all about the books I was reading that were these amazing places. So I was already sharing information as a little kid, because my grandfather, you know, he shared his love of books with me. It was one of the things that we did. I love reading books, and I love traveling across time and space and all that. And I used to go share that with my friends. Guess what? I'm doing it. Okay. So, and also when I was 9 years old, I was directing plays and directing 12-year-olds. I was making costumes out of paper. And as I look back, I was in apparel manufacturing. And I'm directing. I was doing TV production, and I'm directing you guys on how to get on camera and how to do all this, how to put your stories together. This is who I am. You know, a lot of kids played different games. I didn't go play the doctor games and all the other stuff. I was more interested in creative stuff. I was more interested in art. So what were your natural tendencies when you were little, and how can you pull those things out, you know, to tell those stories, to share those stories? And it could be like, you know what, I was just thinking the other day, one of these things, you know, I did this, and wow, that was so in tune with what I'm doing right now. I had the love of you know, directing when I was 9 years old. You know, I had no idea what I was going to be doing, you know, now. But I was 9 years old. I was already doing this. So when you start sharing stories like this on Facebook or any place else you want, but when you start sharing these stories, they go in your library. They become part of your DocuBranding story. And so do a timeline. You know, what I'd like for you to do is have a folder. You can literally name it, you know, Alan's, you know, storylines, Alan's, Jeanette's storylines, Karen's stories, Bill's stories. So you, yeah, let me see, we got more people waiting. Let's get them in here. Okay. All right. So, okay, you see, let's see. All right. Now, so all of you are getting, so get your stories going, and we will be able to, okay. All right, we got more people jumping on. So have your story folder, because you're going to be tapping into them as you're creating your DocuBranding. And by the way, your DocuBranding is an ever evolving, you know, mechanism. You're never going to stop your DocuBranding. Okay, you're always sharing who you are, what you do, why you're passionate. And DocuBranding does not apply only to your particular story. It also applies to the story of the products and services you've created. So now I'm doing a Global Visibility Initiative TV special. And why am I doing it? Well, because every 3 months, every 4 months, right now we're still deciding if it's going to be 3 months or 4 months, I'm going to be featuring people who are making a difference. So I want to give them global visibility. Why do I want to do that? Because there is a need for it. I'm teaching people to go global. I want to support them. So that's the story on the Global Visibility Initiative. There's a lot more behind it that, that would showcase the passion I have for, global visibility. But this is a part of it. So every product that you create, every program you create, everything you do has a reason why it was created in the first place. That's a documentary in itself. You're building a storyline where the idea came from. How was it sparked? And what was the evolution that you went through to get to the final product of the final program? Everything has a story. It's not just how we evolved into what we're doing. Every product has a story. Think about that. First, it was an idea. An idea was sparked. Then you played around with the idea. Maybe you talked to some people about it. You asked some questions about it. You got feedback on it. And some of it was great, and some of it was not so well. How did you come to decide to do the way you're doing it? There was a reason for it. All of that is part of the DocuBranding story. Okay? So it's a lot more than that. This is what I want you to do. And this is an ever-evolving folder. So you can have a folder for your DocuBranding story, which is the first one you should be doing so people know who you are. And then you need one for products and services that you're going to be, doing ongoing, okay? Focus on the programs you already have. Go back and talk about the history, how you put it together. So you can easily create this. It's not, you have the tools and the resources. And those of you who have recently joined us, I'm going to give you the link to the page where we have the for the turn your showing to cash mechanism, the training. Go in there while we're still working. Actually, one of the people I met in Sydney is working on our LearnDash platform. So we're going to be able to get back into our members area bigger and better than before. But in the meantime, we're just going to be taking a detour as we're in construction. Okay, so everybody clear, I hope, on the DocuBranding story. So all you have to do right now is identify different events in your life that are part of the story, the part of your story, part of the story that, became your program, your product. Okay. And so I already, let's see, I want to go full screen again. I already covered what you do already on Facebook to turn into your marketing library, the 30-day plan, your store DocuBranding story. So these are the 3 things. And so, I'm going to actually open it up for questions right now to see if there's anything on this before we move on to the next section. So let me just go back to shoulder. Okay, does anybody have a question or comment about any of what we've covered, whether it's creating your stories, whether it's figuring out how you can take what you already do on Facebook, turn it into your library. Anybody? Okay, Petra, I see you. Okay, you're unmuted. Go for it.
Hi, everyone. I have a question about the story end, because I have so many stories, and some of them they've been so catalytic and so big. My concern is how to say it so it doesn't sound sort of depressing, the story. You know, how to say something that's been adversity, but without sounding off-putting and unattractive.
Okay, well, how you do that, first of all, what happened, okay, what happened, that, you know, you can easily put that in 1 or 2 sentences, okay? Just the overview. You don't have to go into a lot of detail.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Then you go, what was the solution? What did you do to solve that problem? And, you know, usually you have to change your mindset about something and then take action. Okay, so you're not staying in the problem. You're stating the problem, and you're talking about how did you overcome it? You know, I was so confused, and, you know, maybe I went to somebody for advice. Maybe I was praying, and I just all of a sudden thought about it. Maybe I was writing it out, all the different possibilities, and then the answer came down. How do you solve that particular problem? is a good way to start.
Yeah, thank you.
Wait, it's not over yet. How you solved it is the process. Then you have to talk about the outcome. As a result of you taking that particular action, even though it was very difficult, it was stressful, it was painful, you made the decision to take certain actions. And because you took those actions, here is the result. Here's what's happened. Here's the life you're living. Here's the freedom you're experiencing. Maybe it was it helped you feel more confident about yourself. It could be something as simple as that. So whatever it is, there are 3 parts: the problem, solution, and the outcome.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, every story has those in there, by the way. Okay, and now I'm getting a lot more light in there, so I should be adjusting my exposure, because I'm looking pretty. There we go. Yeah. All right. Anybody else has a question or a comment? Bill, I see you. Okay. Go for it.
I was kind of pondering the same question as Petra, and then I kind of realized that I've got a methodology that I've been using that essentially captures what you just shared and into a framework. So it's called SPARK, S-P-A-R-K. So what it stands for is the S is the situation. So you start off talking about the situation. Then P goes into the problem that was experienced associated with that situation. The A, so you go down into what I call into the hole and then up to the hill. The A then is the action that was taken to get out of that problem. The R is the result that was achieved. And then the K is the knowledge that was gained from that experience. So I use this for testimonials with clients. So I share the current client situation, some background, the problem that they were experiencing with, for example, their sales team or the individual. The action that was taken was that they learned about, work with me, got understandings, etc. The results were, and then what their knowledge or learning from that was. So that to me just reminds me of kind of how to avoid what Petra is sharing, where you kind of go down into it and then you get stuck and you don't know how to come back out of that.
Well, thank you for that, Bill. And yeah, actually, that would be wonderful if you could share it. Maybe do you have it in like a PDF form? How do you do that? Or maybe create a video on how to do that. And you can share it not only with our people, but that would be a Facebook Live presentation that will go in your library.
Okay.
And yeah. And by the way, everybody, Bill is also at this time creating the mechanism for us to be able to move people into motion when they're reaching out. Because as you know, I'm going global, and I can't be doing one-on-ones and do everything myself. So we're creating a mechanism where people will be trained, once we create the system with Bill, people will be trained by Bill to walk them through the process. So for example, somebody goes to the website, we ask them, do you want to, they watch the video, if they want to set up a call to get assessment, whether they're on getting going, getting ready, getting on the set, or getting paid. Where are they? So they can have, a quick chat, like a 15-minute chat with an associate producer, whose job really is to make sure that we're serving the client and directing them to the right training video, rather than get time with me, because right now when people book time, they get time with me, and I can't do it, especially traveling. And I'm also working with, with some of the bigger clients, even less and less, just because of what's happening. So we're creating a mechanism where if I know I'm doing a promotion, say, hey, Bill, I need like 3 or 4 people that can walk, everybody through this process. And really all it is, asking the right questions, walking them through the process that, Bill was just describing, except it's customized for me. Now, the reason I'm going into details with this is because once we create this, it's to fill events and programs systematically. Bill is also making this service available for anybody that's working with me. So you will be able to actually work with Bill on creating this for you. That means you will have a sales system that's service-oriented to walk people through a process. And this is going to be good for all of us, and we'll keep you updated as we go. And Bill is actually training Leslie Benson, who's working closely with me right now to go through the process, fine-tune it, then he'll be training his, salespeople who will be able to do this, heart-centered, service-oriented salespeople. Okay. All right, so thank you for that, Bill.
Thanks, Ann.
Okay, anybody else that has a question or a comment? No. Okay, so what we're going to do now, I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next section. Okay, now make the camera love you. This is where a lot of people actually get stuck. We want to keep everything short and sweet, especially on Facebook, or just raise a promotional video. And by the way, when you're interviewing on television, like news shows only give you anywhere from 1 to 3 minutes. So you need to be able to create a message that works really fast. Talk shows, they do anywhere from 3 to 6 minutes. So if you are creating content that's anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes, you're actually going to be in a pretty good spot. And learning how to create content in 3 to 5 minutes is going to give you the practice you need to speak in sound bites, and which is crucial when you're creating content. And by the way, once you start getting out there, you're going to be having requests to be interviewed in all kinds of TV shows. I myself, I'm going to be having everybody who's a Money and You grad go for the Money and You TV show. And also, I'm at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and do a collaborative production of the Access to Experts and bringing it back as a TV show. So if you're not a Money and You grad, you can be a contributor to the Access to Experts. That means you can interview other experts. You can, within your expertise. If you're somebody in empowerment, you interview people who are in the empowerment, health and wellness. You interview people in health and wellness who are renowned experts and things like that. And then you can also create content that 3 to 5 minutes, on a topic that can become part of the show within the same topic. You can send in questions. You create all kinds of things you can do when you're going out to trade shows, interview experts, and all that. So everything I've been teaching you, I'm going to give you a place to do that with access to experts. And if you're a Money and You grad, you will also be able to go within the Money and You TV show. Okay? So get in touch with me about that. Let me know which is which, because we're actually identifying people who are going to do it. And since I already know most of you, we've been working with you for a while, and some of you who are new, I'm getting to know you very quickly. I'll be able to go ahead and plug you in and decide together where you fit in. So that's more exposure for you. Collaboration is good for all of us. We'll be interviewing each other, sharing content. Now, for you to be able to create content that's really desirable, you do have to speak in sound bites. And if people are not immediately drawn to what it is that you're talking about, that means your segment is not going to be watched. If they're not drawn to it, they're not watching it. They're not watching it, you're not going to be on. This is what happens on TV shows. You know, their ratings, everything is tracked. And today, technology gives us access to all kinds of tracking equipment. So we are, we got a phone. All right, we'll just, I'm not going to go get it. So, so we're going to be tracking. I want you to create content to, you know, within that time frame. And you need to be practicing to be able to be succinct. It's not that easy. It takes practice. And again, you have 3 to 5 seconds to grab people's attention and move them into action. That's the hook. So remember the message, you know, from your training, every message, every video, it doesn't make a difference what it is, whether it's 5 seconds or 50 seconds or 5 minutes. It's the hook, the body on a call to action. The hook is to grab people's attention, the body to add value, educate, and build trust. And the call to action is for them to know the next indicated step, you know. So for them to be able to go get that assessment tool that you were just talking about, or maybe get a different assessment tool, maybe watch a video on how to do something. Whatever it is, you want to take them to the next, you know, place where they're going to get the additional information, because there is no possible way you can deliver enough information in 5 minutes to have a lasting transformation in somebody's life, you know, whether it has to do with health, whether it has to do with the mental status, whatever it is, they need more information. So if you start thinking this way, then what is the next indicated step? What would they need next to be successful? And it's about adding value to the viewers. And if you are following what I'm teaching, everything you put out, it's related to one of the modules that you are offering in your online program. You go into one of the modules, you take out an exercise, you know, just like Bill was demonstrating. He already has the spark, so he just has to take it out and talk about how it works. Well, this is a tiny portion of, you know, his entire program. So all of you have this. So all you have to do is just go in there and take out something, you know, and explain to people how to do it, or do it with somebody in as a laser coaching experience, so people see you working with other people. Regardless of what it is, it's part of your program. So now people get a taste of you, and they're being taught how you work, and see if they resonate with your style of teaching or not. Not everybody is for my style of teaching, you know, and that's okay, because there's somebody else to support them, okay? And that's why it's important for you to know who you're working with. So it's important for people to experience you, okay? So now, having said that, the hook is the most important part. The easiest way is to ask a question. The easiest way and the most powerful way, because when you ask a question, the mind automatically has to answer that question. As soon as we hear a question, it goes into motion to find the solution, to find the answer, you know? So what is the question you can ask? Well, think about where are they, and what are they thinking about. So right now I'm just going to open it up to you guys, okay? So what are you thinking about when it comes to crafting your hook? Okay, what are you asking yourself? Nobody has a question? What's going through your mind when it comes to creating your message? Nobody wants to share. Okay, so have you been thinking, gee, I've been hearing a lot about hooks, but I have no idea what it is. Or everybody tells me hooks are really important, but I have no idea how to create one, right? So all I have to do is ask, have you been thinking, or have you been hearing about how important the opening hook is, but you don't even know what it is? And if you're in that state, you're going to actually, pay attention to it. So then you're going to go ahead and start finding the information that I'm delivering very interesting, if that's something you're interested in. Okay? So again, what is their state of mind? And the examples I've been giving all of you during the program, somebody in health and wellness, they could be hearing people say, I'm in constant pain. Okay? So I'm in constant pain. I'm sick and tired of being in constant pain. So the question would be, are you sick and tired of being in constant pain? I see Bill is raising his hand. So I'm going to go ahead and unmute Bill. Go ahead, Bill. You have a question or a statement?
Yeah, thanks, Anne. In the context of hooks, one of the things that I'm thinking is that there's fundamentally two types of hooks. There's a problem hook and there's an aspiration hook. In other words, that you raise a question, talk to the problem, like the example you just gave. How many of you are experiencing pain constantly and want to know how to handle it? Or an aspirational hook would be something like, how would you like to have the next 10, 30 days free of pain in your neck? Is that the kind of context of hooks that you're talking about?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So what you want to do is actually start jotting down what people are saying. And then turn that into a question. So in your case, Bill, people are having sales challenges, right? They don't know how to close more sales. They don't know how not to be a pushy seller. Like, it's like, oh, I need to get more customers, but I don't want to be a pushy salesperson. I don't like pushy salespeople. Okay, and things like that, where people are saying that's holding them from actually closing more customers, or having people sign up for their programs or whatever it is. So what are the challenges that people are facing when it comes to sales? What are they saying? That's the question. What are people saying? What is the conversation in their mind? And then you turn that into a question, So in your case, it would be, let's say, it's like, are you wishing you had more customers, but are worried about, being a pushy salesperson? Or, do pushy salespeople turn you off and you don't want to be one? So your business is suffering because you don't want to be a pushy salesperson? Are you going out of business because you don't want to be a pushy salesperson? Well, you don't have to. Okay? Or it could be, have you been thinking, I don't want to be a pushy salesperson? So anything that will trigger the thought process. And then what you do is start using it to test and see how people respond. Because honestly, there is no magic blue pill. We don't know. The best experts don't know what people are going to respond to. Marketing is about testing. It's about, I'm giving you guidelines, but I don't know the end result of the people you're interacting with, what you're doing. I don't know the end result of the people that I'm interacting with. I only know some of the information I put out works well. Some of the information I put out doesn't. Then I get rid of the ones that's not working and then stick to the ones that are. That's all it is. It's a constant massaging of different things. And I'll tell you one thing though. When you are around your customers, when you say something that makes sense, a lot of times they will reiterate and go, oh, so you mean dot, dot, dot. You go, yeah, that's it. Then you just write down what they just said, because that's probably the more common and simplest and clearest way for you to explain that particular thing. Okay, makes sense, everybody? Okay, all right. Kathy, I see you waving. All right. You're
Yes.
on.
Hi, everybody. And I just really wanted to ask a question about what my question would be, and is it too general? So my question is really about, you know, the pain point for my people is, you know, they all think about wanting to make a difference, but they don't have the time or the resources to do so. So my question I had was, you know, do you think about wanting to make a difference and would really like to do that, but you don't know how? Is that too broad?
No, it's not too broad. I would actually take that and restate it in a few different ways. You know, it's like, have you been thinking, you know, I'd like to do more, you know, make a bigger difference. I'd like to, you know, get around to whatever, you know, programs that you're talking about. You know, I know you go to Nepal, you know, because say, you know, have you been thinking, you know, maybe I'd like to go to Nepal and work, but I just can't afford to take the time to go. I don't, but you don't have to go to make a difference. You can still help the children in Nepal without going to Nepal. And here are some ways. So you can actually play with it. And I would suggest you look for some trigger words, the things that people are very conscious about right now. If you look in the media, there's always some kind of catastrophe that's happening somewhere, where we hear about,
Right.
you know, different children or adults.
Yeah, children suffering.
Yeah, it's not just the children. Children tug at our heartstrings because we all have, you know, compassion for children. But it's not just the children. There are animals. There are all kinds of things that are happening, and there are all kinds of associations, organizations, and companies that are out there doing good. You can actually, you know, take what this goes kind of into publicity. And I actually, by the way, just made arrangements to, we'll be doing a masterclass with Jill Lublin, who is, you know, an amazing publicist. Yeah, I was talking with her yesterday. Anyway, so you're going to have a lot more ways to figure out how to get in there. Look at the headlines of the day. This is not just making a difference, you know, with children. It's not just a do-good thing. All of you, when you look in the headlines of the day, there is usually something that's, you know, that you can take and make it relatable to what you do. Okay? Yeah, so I'm giving you a long answer, but you are exactly on the right track, Kathy. So just take that and, you know, so if you want to make a difference, there is a way. Find out, you know, 3 easy things you can do, 3 things that don't take a lot of time. One thing you can do right now that will take only 5 minutes a day or 1 hour a month. You can make a difference by taking 1 hour a month doing this one thing. And I bet you, if you sit down and you can write down all the different things that you can do with people can do to support, there are things that only take an hour. There are things that only take half an hour that they can easily incorporate with their business just to get started. And as they get started, they will see the benefit of doing good. One of the things that doing good is a great way to grow your business. Doing good is a very fast and efficient way of growing your business. So for people who are more interested in making money than doing good, that's a real good one. Because I you know, when I'm working one-on-one with people or doing special trainings, I'm like, you know, have you thought about, you know, doing this or doing that? Doing good gets you into the community. Doing good makes you feel good. Doing good, you know, your business, and that actually, you know, so I encourage you to use that. You know, start creating different books around that. You know, you want to skyrocket your business. You want to move forward in whatever you're doing. Do good. Yeah. It's a great way to get involved with the community. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I like what you're saying too about looking at the topics for the day too, and finding hooks on that. I really like that idea as well. So thank you. Yep, I'm good with that. Thank you, Anne.
You're welcome. By the way, everybody, this is a practice, okay? The information that I'm sharing with you, this is what publicists do day in and day out. And they get paid tens of thousands of dollars just to do one thing, the good publicists. Right now, we are the media, so we have to learn to be publicists. This is advanced knowledge stuff that I'm sharing with you that we're condensing into one program. I'm asking you to be a TV producer. I'm asking you to be a publicist. I'm asking you to be a marketer. I'm asking you to do all kinds of things. Why? Because you can. Because we can. Because I have already put all the pieces together. I've been massaging this for the past 15 years. Actually, more. I've been massaging this my entire life, basically. But especially with what's happening between the creation of the videos and the interviews and the technology, I've already done the grunt work in this, and I know it can be done. And where I don't have the advanced knowledge, I'm bringing in the people with the advanced knowledge. So all I'm asking you to do is do what I'm asking you to do, okay? So if you're not moving forward in any area, are you doing what I'm asking you to do? Are you taking some of the steps that I'm asking you to do? This is where we're looking at. And by the way, I ask the same questions of myself, and I'm like, okay, here are the things I need to do. I have not done this, I have not done that, I have not done that. For whatever reason, it doesn't really make a difference. There are all kinds of situations happening. So where can I start implementing the first thing? When can I do the second thing? You don't have to do all of them at the same time. You just have to start doing them. You have to start doing the thing that you need the most. And one of the most effective thing you can do that really stands out right now, I'll give you an example. The easiest thing to do, Dilek, when she attended the October event, and she was, matter of fact, when I had lunch or I had dinner with her while I was in Sydney, she said, you know, Ann, I go to every, whatever seminar I go to, regardless of how much money I pay, I look for one thing that I can take away from that. And she told me from yours that, there were many things, which I was happy to hear, but the one thing that she took action on immediately was to get out there and start interviewing the speakers at seminars. She literally called, and all of you can be doing it right now. So that's why I'm going step by step what they're doing. All of you can look up and see what events are in your area and call them and say, hey, I'm from the media, I'm from this TV show, whatever. Do you have somebody covering your event? Do you have somebody interviewing your VIP guests? Do you have somebody interviewing your speakers? And I'd like to come and cover your speakers. But if you say this is for whatever show, and if you decide, well, we decide you're going to be one of the commentators or one of the roving reporters for Access to Experts, then you can get out there and say, I'm calling you from Access to Experts. And, I'd like to interview you, or I'd like to interview the speakers for Access to Experts. And they're going to say, well, we don't have any. So somebody doing your red carpet interviews. Well, we don't really have any. And they told her, we don't even have a budget. It was a big, event, and they always fall short at the last minute. And so she said, well, that's okay. I'll just bring in my videographer. You just give me access to the speakers. Can you arrange that? They were happy to do that. And she does Facebook ad marketing. So her business is booming. She was doing well before, but now she's getting the top clients. And so think about it. Why can't you do this? You have now, by the way, if you're going to go do that, take your studio lights. The umbrella lights are very light to carry. The stands, they're flexible, they're portable. Take that with you, because when you put that up, people know there is an interview going on, right? So that's one. The other thing you want to do when you're doing VIP events, you want to have what's called a step and repeat. It's that you've seen in red carpet events where people are being interviewed, and on the backdrop there are logos of different programs, the different whatever the movie is being released, or the sponsors and all that. They're all these different, those are called step and repeat, okay? So I have one, it says GVN TV, access to experts, meet the press live, you know, I have it. And when you approach them and say, well, let's you know, create the step and repeat, but put your sponsors' names on it, and usually it costs about $300. They're like, oh, we don't have the budget, or we don't have the time. Most of the time, there's no time. You say, you know what? I'll bring my step and repeat. And you're doing them a favor, but guess what? When I have that up there and the lights are there, we do some interviews, and I leave up the step and repeat. People are coming in front of it, and you know, they're taking selfies and putting them on their Facebook because, oh, they're at a red carpet event. I do that when I go to a red carpet event, and I'm advertising somebody else's, because what it does, it says, I'm at a red carpet event. I'm at a VIP event, okay? And that's good for us. If I'm at a VIP event, I must be a VIP, right? So you see how all of this works. And this you can do easily. The light set is only like $60, $70. The step and repeat, like I said, it's going to be like $300. And that's it. And of course, you need a camera, a tripod. And if you want to do this, you want to have a conversation about it, you know, actually you should be creating another training on this. But if you want to do this, as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell all of you, you must do this, okay? It's going to skyrocket what you're doing very, very quickly. It's a mega leveraging tool. All right, so next, interacting with the camera. Okay. Well, first of all, you must look at the camera. Okay, the people are on the other side. They are looking at you. It's when we are talking with somebody and we're having a conversation in person, we're not looking at them, you know, looking down, having a conversation. We're looking at their face. We're looking in their eyes. That's where the connection is. Well, the camera is your connection to the eyes of the viewers. So you must learn to interact with the camera. I know it's uncomfortable. You would rather look down at, like right now, I'm looking at, you know, I'm looking down to see all of you. I'd rather be doing that, but isn't it a disconnect? Look at me, I'm looking down. Now, do you see the difference? I'm looking at you in your eyes, I'm looking in your eyes. It's a must. So get on as you need to, as often as you need to, learn how to turn the camera into the gateway to your people's heart. That's what you're connecting with. And remember that the head repels, the heart attracts, okay? The head repels, the heart attracts. Once you turn on the camera, don't worry about the rest of it. And what I'm doing here, I have the PowerPoints that are keeping me on track. I know what bullet points I have to cover. I know what the topic I have to cover. I just have to look at it and get back to talking about it because I know my stuff. And guess what? You know your stuff. All you need to do is have a couple of bullet points that tells you what you're going to cover next. Okay? So start practicing. Be very careful not to turn people off by, you know, really looking in the other direction. How do you still want to talk to me right now? Let's continue to have a conversation. When you're having a conversation with somebody and they, you know, they're not looking at you, it's telling me, go away. I'm not interested in you. Right? When we're having conversations, so you have to start looking at the camera as a person. Now, by the way, in the training area, it's module episode 4. Jodina St. John has some really great tips on how to interact with the camera. And if the event you were at, I did not play the video with Jodina giving you directions, then go and watch it. But most of the time, I actually play the one with where she's giving directions. And also, there's vocal training and how to dress for the camera. She has videos on all 3. And also, in that same module, there is, well, the expert training for one thing, step-by-step interaction on the things that I'm doing, which I'm not going to cover today because it's already been an hour. And then there is, applying makeup. Dale Bach, Hollywood makeup artist, a step-by-step instruction how to apply makeup, men and women. Anyways, there are 6 episodes in the training. That's the training from 2000, Turn Your Show into Cash 2017. And now, in 2018, I'm actually going to be focusing on DocuBranding, and Turn Your Show into Cash is going to be only on the monetization aspect of it. We're going to be using a trifactor system to plan, produce, and launch your DocuBranding messages. So I am going to do the 6-week program again, walking through the entire mechanism, the trifactor system. And by the way, what I do, everything I do is within the trifactor system. What I do is what I do. The system is the same. We just shift the focus to different things. And you need to identify the system in which you do what you do. And then no matter what the program is, they still have to go through the same process. You just focus on different aspects of it. It makes it easy for people to keep learning and build on. And if you keep switching, by the way, then that means that you haven't identified your system yet. And any system, there is the initial preparation, implementation system is next, and then it's maintenance and advanced. Those are the 3 things that are in there, in every system. You can call it different things, but those are those basic steps. They have to prepare, they have to do, and they have to maintain. So that's your system. And connect with the camera, the viewers, that's it. And the next thing was, this, okay? XSplit, I already told you about where to go to look at the step-by-step. And what I'm going to do, actually, I will go ahead and put the temporary link that is still in there for the training program for those of you who are still getting emails from the membership site we had before. So I'm going to put it in the chat. So please go there while we move everything over. All 12 episodes will be in the Learn Dash as we're moving. So this is where you go. You don't even need a username and password. Please don't pass this around. This is for you. This is only for people who have been attending my program. So be respectful, be mindful, and don't pass it around. This is for you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. But before we do that, I'm going to open it up for questions. Anybody have questions, comments, anything that you want to? Nobody? Okay. All right, Petra, go for it.
I was wondering, in relation to the art, what would be the best angles to cover at events? Would it be like promotion of like exposure of someone, or what would be the best way to the best topic to cover something that is not so product driven or not so specific? Something that could be something that could be seen by with so many angles, because when it's art and it's so creative.
Okay. Well, when it comes to art, if I were you, I would take my cameras and go to an art show. And I would go and interview the artists that are displaying their art and ask them the inspiration they got behind each one of the paintings or the sculpture or whatever, whatever medium they're working with. Ask the artist, and guess what's going to happen? As soon as you have that video, the artist is going to be sharing that video with everybody they know. They're going to put it on their website because the artist is talking about their art, what they're passionate about, and somebody else is acknowledging it and giving them the opportunity to talk about the inspiration. And that's the part that's going to actually work. That's the easiest way, the simplest way for you to get started.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bill.
And you were mentioning there essentially a 30-day sequence on Facebook Live.
Mhm.
And there's a part of my brain which is that's well, there's two aspects. One, overkill in terms of like just too much. Like I'd go for, so because I'm going from like no Bill Carson on Facebook to then 30 days. So that's one thing. But then the other is then the capacity to actually produce the content, or to sort of think it all through. So would that be your suggestion, that you kind of plan out, know what you're going to say, to do them each day, do them over 2 or 3 days? Because I've got some training workshops and stuff over the next month, for example. So what's your first? Okay, so the question is, number one, that frequency of 30 days, that's question number 2, or spreading it out, like I'm thinking Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and then having some themes.
Okay. So first, the overkill part. Is it overkill for you or overkill for the people that you're sharing the message with?
Because I'm not a prolific Facebook user or consumer, it seems overkill to me.
To whom? For you or for the people you're sharing it with?
To the people that I'm sharing it with.
Okay, well, I got news for you. As much as I'd like to think everybody is hanging on to every word that we're sharing, we wish it was that way.
Right.
It takes a lot of effort for people to be paying attention to us every day. Okay? So don't worry about the people. And just because they see your name pop up doesn't mean they're going to go watch it. We can't possibly keep up with everybody. So the tagline is going to attract them or not. So don't worry about them right now. You're building your library. And for the people who are interested in what you're teaching, they would love to get a tip every day. As long as you keep it 3 to 5 minutes, I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes every day, Bill. I would.
Okay.
Topic, okay? So now, the next part, as far as you working, creating the content, you're busy, I get it, but guess what you can do? With XSplit, you can actually, with anything really, but let's just, since with XSplit, all you have to do is create, let's say, 5 different slides with 5 different tips, and then hit the record button, talk about tip number 1, 3 to 5 minutes, stop. Tip number 2, you can create 10 tips in an hour, okay? So keep them brief, and that goes in your library, and all you have to do is upload it to Facebook and tag people. It's already created.
Okay.
If all you're doing is the tips, but then when you start, you get the tips up there, and then ask people, hey, I'm looking for somebody to interview on this particular topic. People are going to say yes. So right now, let me ask you, how many of you want to be interviewed for Access to Experts to go in Access to Experts? How many of you want to be interviewed by me? See? Okay. People who know you are going to want to be in it. So next you schedule, you can do an interview once a week. You can, you can take one day and do maybe 3 interviews. It's possible. It's not that difficult if you know how to prepare. So, but in the beginning, even if you do 1 interview a week, it's a lot better than what you're doing. And it will take half an hour. Let's say it takes an hour by the time you prepare, And when you're interviewing others, they usually will give you the questions to ask. And now your part is going to be learning how to ask questions the way I'm teaching you, to control the interview the way I'm teaching you, because most people, they are used to creating content for webinars, and they're basically sales oriented. And when they send you the questions, find something in there that's related to what are some of the common misconceptions people have, or what when they send you their bio, a lot of times they're going to send you a full-page bio. Just reading it will take you 10 minutes. So I have people just do that, expecting that they're going to do that. what you can do as you're looking at the bio, find something within the bio that says, oh, this is what I want to interview them on. And then you just pick that thing and say, you know, way back when you started doing this particular thing, and I love the way you stayed on track with it, whatever. Just pick something about them that you know is relevant to your people and is serving your people. You know, not everybody, they wanna add a lot of content, but most people are taught to sell, to do webinars, and that's not what you're doing. And for you to control the interview, find one or two things that you think is really important, the things you want to interview them on, and then say, you know, I love what you sent me. It's all great information. We can do 5 interviews with what you've sent me. So why don't we start with the first one? And these are the questions that I want to ask you. These are the topics I want to cover. Is that okay? They're going to say yes. And if they're a good interview, now you have a reoccurring guest coming back. And guess what's going to happen? Their people are going to be coming back along with them each time. So you control the time that you're spending. You control the interview. So it's a win-win all around. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is doable? Okay. And again, please, please, please learn to use XSplit, because you will create your content. You will record with XSplit. You can go live with XSplit. You can do all kinds of cool things with it. Just go and see the training I have. You don't need to go on YouTube, look up, you know, XSplit training videos, because you will go into overwhelm. Okay? It's a pretty robust program. So just go and do what I'm suggesting to start with, and then if you want to expand on it, fabulous, go for it. You can teach me a few things, because it's so much it does. Okay? Are we in agreement?
Yes.
Guys, please, I spend a lot of time finding the easiest, fastest way of doing things, and I can't make you do it. I can't come to you and make you do it. I'm having enough time making myself do all the stuff I want. So we have to, you know, we have to collaborate here, okay? And if you are interested in setting up an Access to Experts interview with me, send me a message. And if you want to be an ongoing contributor, that means you just, you know, send me a 3 to 5 minute segment, a tip in your expertise. So we put it in the category that we're doing. So I know you're going to be, you know, contributing on a regular basis. And what that means is that maybe you're going to give me 4 different tips that are 3 to 5 minutes long, and I'll be including that in, you know, in my plans for that month. Okay, so you just give me 4 tips once a month, and it will be the ones that you create. And make sure it's value added, and make sure you're not just saying, hey, you know, go over here, sign up for my program and stuff. It's about giving a tip, and, you know, it will automatically, you can talk about it. There's an assessment tool if you're interested in it, and I'll be putting the links and all that below the video anyways, because I do want to send people your way. Just don't turn it into a sales page. Make it content rich. Think about TV show, you know, think about a talk show. What is it that you like to see in a talk show? It's all about adding value. And again, of course, I'm going to be sending people your way. And I'm tapping into some pretty big networks. This is going to be really good for all of us. Okay? Do I have an agreement from all of you? Thank you. Yay. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, I am doing an event. I'm in the Gold Coast right now. I'm going to be doing an event here on the 14th. When we started looking at what's happening, the New Zealand, I decided to put when I come back in August. So if you have people who would benefit by what I'm teaching, it's just a one-day lights, camera interview, the $197. And these are people that you would like to work with. I want to train the people that you want to be supported by. I want to train the people that you want to create content with. Okay? So send them to me. I'll get their mindset set up, and we'll all grow together. And you can send them to lightscamerainterview.com, and took away a lot of the stuff to make it real simple for people to know what it is. Go to the webpage lightscamerainterview.com, and yeah, we'll get this going. It's on the 14th, April 14th, and then I'm going to be heading back to Sydney on the 15th, and I'm leaving for LA on the 17th, heading back home. Okay? All right, everybody. Again, thank you so much for joining me. And wow, it's longer than I expected it to be, but I hope this was like a lot of great content and you got inspired to take action together, support each other. All right. Thank you. Have an amazing day. Bye-bye.